Good morning. It is Thursday, February 12th, 2026, and you're here for your daily AI News Digest. Today, we are tracking a massive tremor that's shaking the entire software world. The industry is making a huge leap from simple chatbots into what everyone's now calling the agentic era. Okay, let's dive right in.
We have to start with this bombshell of a number. Just look at it. In the last week alone, the software as a service market, it's lost over $730 billion in value. Now, this is not just some market correction. No way. This is a sign that the ground is literally shifting under the entire digital economy.
So the big question on everyone's mind is what on earth just happened to cause this? Well, it all boils down to a few critical stories that broke this week, starting with what is looking more and more like a mass extinction event for the software industry as we know it.
Welcome to what the market is calling the great SaaS sell-off. People are dubbing this the Anthropic Moment. And it's that instant when investors suddenly realized that AI is no longer just a neat little feature you bolt onto an app. We're talking about AI that doesn't just respond to you, but acts on your behalf. We're talking autonomous agents. And these agents? They're becoming the new operating system that runs all the other apps, which, as you can imagine, has some terrifying implications for the big software companies out there.
Now, what's really fascinating here are the reasons why. Just look at these threat factors. Shopify, down 23% because new agentic commerce protocols are popping up. Think of these as universal languages that let AIs do business for you, which suddenly makes a platform like Shopify feel a lot less essential. Monday.com and Bill.com are getting absolutely hammered because autonomous AI agents can now orchestrate entire projects and handle financial compliance all by themselves. And Atlassian is feeling the heat from agentic coding tools like Cursor, which can write, debug, and manage entire code bases with barely any human help. I mean, the crucial point is this. If one AI can do the job of 12 different tools, why would you keep paying for a dozen different apps?
And this quote it nails it. It perfectly illustrates the shift. The real value is no longer in the individual app you're using, it's in the AI that can control and coordinate all of them. The apps themselves are becoming simple commodities, while the AI orchestrator, well, it's becoming king.
Okay, so let's move down a layer to the hardware and see how this is all being built. This entire revolution is being powered by a massive shift right at the heart of the AI industry, and it's being led by its undisputed hardware champion, Nvidia. So, just today, Nvidia finalized the single largest deal in its entire history, a $20 billion acquisition of a specialized chip designer called Groq. Now, this isn't just about Nvidia getting bigger. This is a brilliant strategic pivot that's meant to secure their dominance for the next decade.
And to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to understand the difference between training and inference. Training is teaching the AI. It's like sending it to college. And that's what NVIDIA's famous GPUs have dominated for years. But inference is using the AI, putting it to work at a massive scale, which is exactly what all these new autonomous agents are doing. And that requires a totally different kind of chip, one that's all about speed and efficiency. And that's exactly what Groq built.
So by snapping up Groq's technology, Nvidia is basically cornering the entire inference market before it even gets off the ground. I mean, as you can see, they already have an iron grip on nearly 90% of the AI chip market. This move is all about defending that fortress and making sure that every single AI agent everywhere in the world runs on their silicon.
Okay, so if Nvidia is building the hardware for this new world, who's building the software? Let's take a look at the new gatekeepers. These are the companies creating the platforms that are going to control these incredibly powerful AI agents.
Well, OpenAI just launched a platform called Frontier, and you can basically think of it as an operating system for a company's intelligence. It hooks into all of a company's data, lets them onboard AI agents just like their new digital employees, and then those agents can go and execute really complex tasks, all inside a secure, auditable environment.
And the key words here are trust and governance. See, Frontier is built from the ground up to solve the biggest fears that enterprises have, security and accountability. With things like a sandboxed execution environment and really detailed audit logs, OpenAI is basically telling big companies, hey, it's okay, you can safely delegate real, actual authority to our agents. But of course, OpenAI is not the only player in this game. This explosion in agentic AI has kicked off a brand new, fierce phase of the model wars, and it's having massive geopolitical consequences. So as we mentioned, Anthropic just dropped Claude Opus 4.6, and it is an absolute beast. The headline feature is a 1 million token context window that actually works. We're talking about 750,000 words. It can hold an entire code base or a massive legal file in its active memory without forgetting what happened back on page 1.
It's incredible. What's really interesting here is how specialized these models are becoming. Claude is now, without a doubt, the champion for deep, professional knowledge work. It just blows GPT 5.2 out of the water. But GPT 5.2 still has a commanding lead in abstract, nonverbal reasoning. The takeaway here is that there is no single best model anymore. To compete, companies are going to need a multi-model strategy.
And all this competition is pushing nations to build their very own AI infrastructure. It's a trend called sovereign AI. Countries like Japan are seeing the power of this technology, and they're now scrambling to manufacture their own AI servers. Why? To make sure their data stays inside their borders and that they aren't totally dependent on US tech or regulations.
Right. So with this much power being unleashed this quickly, it's really no surprise that governments all over the world are scrambling to write the rulebook. Let's take a look at how lawmakers are trying to get a handle on this new agentic economy.
One of the most fascinating legal battles taking shape is over this idea of AI personhood. You've got lawmakers in places like Ohio moving fast to pass bills that explicitly say an AI is not a person. And this might sound like science fiction, but it's an absolutely crucial legal step to make sure that humans, not algorithms, remain accountable in our society.
Meanwhile, over in the EU, regulators are going after the gatekeepers. Meta is now facing major antitrust charges over WhatsApp. The allegation is that they're blocking rival AI assistants from their platform. This case is really about who gets to control the main front door to our digital lives.
So far, we've been focused entirely on the digital world, on code and data. But the truly mind-bending part of this whole story is how all of these breakthroughs are now spilling over into the physical world. The ChatGPT moment for robotics is officially here. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates this new frontier. You have companies like Siemens and Nvidia creating what they call an industrial AI operating system. What they can do is create a perfect digital replica, a digital twin of a factory, have AI agents learn how to operate it in that simulation, and then deploy those exact same agents to run the real-world physical factory.
And that leaves us with the critical question for this new agentic era. As AI learns to not only think but to act in our world, who really holds the power? Is it the companies that build the brilliant AI brains, or is it the platforms that control their every single move? That is the trillion-dollar question we all need to start thinking about.